Example 1. Write each of these as whole numbers or fractions. Part 1. 3 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 2 divided by 3 to the power 5. So 3 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 2 divided by 3 to the power 5. So let's focus on the top of the fraction for now. 3 to the power 4 times 3 to the power 2. Multiplying powers with the same base, we add the powers. So we get 3 to the power 4 plus 2, and that's still all over 3 to the power 5. And 3 to the power 4 plus 2 is 3 to the power 6, and that's still all over 5. Now we are going to use the second law of indices, which is dividing powers with the same base, we subtract the powers. So we've got the same base, which is 3, so we're going to subtract the powers. So 3 to the power 6 divided by 3 to the power 5 becomes 3 to the power 6 minus 5, and 6 minus 5 is 1. So we get 3 to the power 1, which is 3. Part 2, 64 to the power of a third. This is going to give us the cube root of 64. And the cube root of 64 is 4, because 4 by 4 by 4 is 64. So 4 to the power 3 is 64. Part 3, 1 over 4 to the power of minus 2. So we're going to use this rule from our formula book. A to the power of minus p is equal to 1 over a to the power of positive p. Now I'm going to just flip this around, and I'm going to have 1 over a to the power of positive p is equal to a to the power of minus p, because we're starting with the fraction. So if we follow this format, 1 over 4 to the power of minus 2 is going to be 4. So that's the a part. All right, so the 4 in the denominator was the a in the formula. So now we have a big A, so we've got a big 4. Then we've got the minus that was already there in the formula. So a to the power minus p, a to the power minus p. So that's where that blue minus is coming from the formula. And now the p is minus 2. So we actually have 4 to the power of minus 2, which gives us 4 to the power of positive 2, because a minus times a minus is a plus, which is 16. So 1 over 4 to the power of minus 2 becomes 4 to the power of minus 2. And minus 2 is positive 2, and 4 squared is 16. So this is quite a tricky one. So we started off with our formula, a to the power of minus p is equal to 1 over a to the power of positive p. I flipped it around the opposite way because we were starting with the fraction. And the formula says 1 to the power of a over positive p is equal to a to the power of minus p. So the 4 was the a, and then the blue minus comes from here in the formula, and then the second minus comes from the original power in the question. So that's why we have minus 2. So quite a tricky one. In part 4, a to the power of 2 over 3 is going to be the cube root of 8 squared, which is going to be the cube root of 64, because 8 squared is 64, and the cube root of 64 is 4. And this is because 4 to the power 3 is equal to 64. Example 2, part 1. Express 8 over 27 to the power of 2 over 3 in the form of a over b, where a and b are elements of n. So that means a and b, the numerator and the denominator, must be positive whole numbers, because capital N stands for natural numbers, and natural numbers are positive whole numbers. So 8 over 27 raised to the power of 2 over 3. That's going to be 8 to the power of 2 over 3 over 27 to the power of 2 over 3. So we attach the power to the numerator and the denominator. And then 8 to the power of 2 over 3 becomes the cube root of 8 to be squared. That's coming from this rule here in our formula book. So the denominator 3 becomes the number in front of the root, and the numerator 2 becomes the power outside the bracket. And then likewise, 27 to the power of 2 over 3 is going to be the cube root of 27 raised to the power 2. So again, the 3, the denominator, goes in front of the root, and the 2, the numerator, goes outside as the new power outside the bracket. And then the cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 by 2 by 2 is 8, or 8 cubed, 2 cubed is 8. And then that 2 there is the power. So that was on the left-hand side. So we're bringing over the squared part. So the cube root of 8 is 2. That's where the big 2 comes from. And then we're bringing over that power and sticking it on to the bigger 2. And then the cube root of 27 is 3, because 3 by 3 by 3 is 27. And again, we're bringing over the squared part and sticking it on to the bigger 3. And then 2 squared is 4 and 3 squared is 9. So 4 over 9 is our answer. Part 2, express 125 over root 5 as a power of 5. So 125 we want to rewrite as 5 to the power of something. So we're going to rewrite that as 5 to the power of 3, because 5 by 5 by 5 is 125. And root 5 we want to rewrite as 5 to the power of something. So we're going to rewrite that as 5 to the power of a half. And now we're dividing powers with the same base, so we subtract the powers. So we get 5 to the power of 3 minus a half, and 3 minus a half is 2.5. So we end up with 5 to the power of 2.5. And you can write that as 5 over 2 instead if you want. So 5 to the power of 5 over 2.